USD agenda.
I'll move to approve. Second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And right now we're going to do some presentations. I'd like to ask Principal Nikki Rodriguez to step forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We are very excited to have some presentations on our students, principal recognitions. We have two students that we would like to recognize. If I could have Ms. Van Acker come up and share our first one.
This way or should I say? Okay, you go. So these are a few reasons why I feel that Brinley deserves this recognition. He is one of the most respectful, responsible, and hardworking students at Greenville Elementary School. He demonstrates respectful by always obeying the golden rule. He shows kindness and guidance to others when helping them with an assignment or a task. He respects school property and is always willing to help keep our campus clean. He demonstrates responsibility by turning in her homework, classwork, even on time, even during her busy sports season. She makes sure she completes her assignments in her planner, even if it's late at night. If she knows she will be absent, she communicates with her teacher and makes sure she gets her assignments before she leaves for the day. She takes ownership of her behavior and openly admits when she is wrong. She demonstrates hardworking by completing her assignments to the best of her ability. She also clarifies her assignments with her teacher in the day, and so she is able to work independently. She is very organized and even remembers things when the teacher forgets. Lastly, Brinley is a joy to have in class. She is a role model to younger students as well as her peers. This student makes it happen every day. Thank you, Brinley.
Would also like to add that we've had ASB elections this week, and she is our current vice president. So congratulations. Okay, we have another student that we would like to recognize as well, and this one is from our high school. So Mrs. Dalton, would you like to come up and a few good things to say?
A few. Okay, tonight is my honor to introduce Andre Valiano as the Greenville High School student who is receiving the Principal's Recognition Award. Andre came to Indian Valley with his mother from Manila. He started out in the second grade at Greenville Elementary. Back then, he was a quiet and serious student. Nothing has changed much since then. Andre has excellent attendance and excels in his classes. He is a respectful young man and a pleasure to have in class. Even if he leaves juice boxes under his beanbag and cases of juices around the pool, wherever he is. Andre's interests are action games, watching baseball, and he likes to work out. Many times you will find him in the weight room pumping some iron. Okay, this year, Andre started out with core 11th grade classes, but he decided to go ahead and change over to AP, History, and English. This is a hard switch after 6 weeks. He will soon be taking his first SAT test. Andre is interested in becoming a mechanical engineer. I asked him why, and he said because it is creative and he can work putting things together. And I said, like what things? He said, well, little things. I said, well, have you ever put anything together? And he said that actually at one time they put a small vacuum together from different pieces and it actually worked on little jobs. Okay, with this interest, he plans on attending Chico State University when he graduates, and when he gets his degree, he wants to work for a big company. Congratulations on your award, Andre. You will go far with your attitude and hard work to be successful.
Okay, we also have the privilege of recognizing one of our teachers and doing a teacher feature for Greenville Schools. So we have all of the staff got together and we came up with a few good things to say. Luke Molnar is our new special education teacher for Greenville Schools. He has taught at a high school level for Plymouth Charter for the past few years, and prior to that, he taught at Quincy Elementary Alder campus. I can say on behalf of all of the staff at Greenville Schools, he is the best education teacher we have had in years. When I asked the staff for input, this is the feedback they had provided. He is always willing to help. He has made himself available before or after school hours to consult with staff regarding academic and or behavioral needs. He is on top of it. He knows what is going on with his students, and he takes the time to build a relationship with each student. Students really enjoy working with Mr. Molnar and often request for his assistance, even on the basketball court. We are very fortunate to have such a dedicated teacher as part of our Greenville Schools team. Mr. Molnar? He also has some cool things to share with us, so if you want to take.
Certainly, I will, do my best. Thank you for that introduction.
No, I know.
I had a PowerPoint, but I'm not sure how that works, if I need to link it up or anything.
I have it.
Okay, thank you so much. It's not pretty. As a teacher, I should be working on, beautiful PowerPoints and fluid presentations, but it's just, it's in a serviceable state. So you'll have to forgive me on that front. But just to start,
We're gonna cast.
I'll just kind of roll into it. Jessica Stone, she's our SELPA director. She's been fantastic as far as like outreach and touching base with all of us. She said something at the beginning of the year that was very important. As special education is not just it's not a place, it's a series of services, and being able to provide the services to these kids as a community. That's a team effort involving everybody, including parents, including, other teachers, including the students. The student can advocate for themselves.
That's why.
And so that philosophy has changed quite a bit back in the medieval days of special education.
So like the 80s?
Students, and you might put them in the room to work with the special ed teacher, and the expectation was like, well, they go over to that other room, that's where they have school. I'm happy to say that philosophy's changed drastically in the last 20, 30 years or so, and I think people are becoming more and more aware that special education is much more than just a place that kids plug in. Really, special education is all places. So wherever the student is, whatever that student's needs are, they're going to be addressed no matter where they are. If they're in a regular class, if they're at garden time, if they're in band, and every kid's different, right? Every kid's got strengths and weaknesses, and they're just regular kids. Every kid is a gen ed kid, right? And it's just that some kids have certain things that they need, and then there's other ones. So I did have a video, and it's like a very short 2-minute video. And I don't know if Mr. Bill can find it.
I don't.
You just hit presentation at the top, I believe.
I'm looking for it, my friend.
Hit that. If you look, there's like an up arrow on the very side next to the pencil.
This one?
I think it's that one. And where the heck did it go? It used to have like a little big present button. All right, that's all right. That's okay.
I can go down.
We can make do.
Mhm.
Oh, there it is. It got shunted down another page. See if it might just be an image. Well, that's okay. So what I had was a little 2-minute snippet of basically some folks addressing autism. And that's just one area of special education, right? There's tons of different things. It could be physical disabilities, behavior, anything like that. But what stood out to me with that video is they're talking about how, we don't put preventions in place and kind of have our detective eyes out for kids' needs early. They get lost in the shuffle. And there's a lot of adults out there who go through school and now they're adults now and they're struggling because they never got that service. They never had people that cared to help them in that way that they needed, or maybe people care, they just didn't know how to help them. And that statistic may have changed, but adults with autism, there's a lot that have undiagnosed autism that they go through life. About 12 to 15% are able to maintain a job, while that rest of that percent have a hard time holding down a consistent job. I even had a friend who went through 50 jobs, 50 different job positions in his life because he didn't have someone there for him to help him with his autism as an adult. And so that kind of touched on me when I watched that video because a few years ago, maybe just 5 or 6 years ago, I was working as a paraprofessional and I was working with other paraprofessional staff, and something stood out to me one day because we had this kid with high functioning autism, great kid, we all loved him. He got onto the bus one day, and a staff member had seen somebody, another adult walking by, and made a negative comment about this adult individual. And she said, "Oh, I bet he's got autism. He's so weird. The guy gives me the creeps." You know, and when I heard that, that really bothered me because here we are, we have this young person with autism. We all love him. He's a cute kid. And then to hear the staff member say something negative about someone who may have adult autism and say something that, and the person, yeah, he's a little quirky, but to say something that negative, I found that such a kind of strange irony and a very disheartening thing that someone who works with kids with disabilities would bash somebody who may have disability as an adult. So like, once you're not a kid anymore, it's not cute, we can just throw you in the gutter, you know? So that really stood out and that bothered me. So I just want to make that clear that, you know, special ed, it's everybody, it's a team effort, and been blessed here at Greenville with such great staff that we have kind of a buddy system in place. So we have all the service providers involved. So that might be, you know, someone to help out with PE adaptations or therapy services. That's part of it too, making sure that we address kids' traumas. Because if they have trauma, they're not going to learn, right? We don't address if they're struggling with stuff. So we want to make sure that we help them feel safe, protected at school. And we also want to foster creativity, interest, and growth. So anytime kids have interests, we want to tap into those and to adapt their needs. So we tap into their strengths and their interests. And we might have like a curriculum that we work with, but we build that curriculum around what they're passionate about. So if we scroll down, we have an inclusion community center. So big buddy system. I've seen this a lot here at Greenville since I've been here. So they call this at certain times inclusion and reverse inclusion, where we would basically have that student included in the group, but we might change some things for that. You know, making PE more accessible to a student with this wheelchair, maybe change the way they play the game. And also big buddy system with students helping other students. We have this one great situation where we have a kid go into another classroom, an older student come in and assist the student who has academic difficulties. And he himself has behavioral difficulties. And being able to help that kid with their academics, this kid being very bright, he can be a positive role model for this young student and help build self-esteem for himself and build a positive role for himself at school and kind of build himself up. So it not just helps the young person with academic difficulties, but also the student that's mentoring them. So we try to incorporate that as well. We have a cool garden system where the kids tend to our school garden, and they can be kind of facilitators for the younger kids. So I consider that part of special education because we're addressing everybody, okay, everybody's needs. And emotional care. So just whenever I have a spare moment, I'll go and just hang out with kids. Kid wants to play basketball because they had a tough day today and they were just couldn't get it together, but there's this one glimmer of positivity that day. It's like, hey, dude, let's go play basketball. Yeah, you're not getting your work done, but let's build a positive sense of positivity in your life for this day, right? And getting to play that basketball just kind of turned his day around, Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but it's always worth a try. And so I'm not always available to, do that and hang out with kids, but whenever I have the opportunity, I try to do that and just be there as just a positive force, because who knows, they might be the best part of their day is being at school, and they might be having trouble outside of that. And you never know when you might be that guiding light for just that moment. So the next section here is just I kind of listed some things on some of the things I do in class with kids. They're just kind of examples. So we scroll up to the fish thing. It's kind of like mindfulness breathing. I know some of our teachers here use that. So I try to use like multimodal stuff with like multimedia. And with one student, we're practicing some breathing exercises, kind of building that in to kind of settle them in for the day. So we've been practicing some of that, and just go down a little bit there. I've been practicing a little social emotional learning with one student. So trying to help him learn like how to handle his stress and be able to channel his emotions in a positive way. So he really loves Dogman. So we use this thing called social detectives, and I thought, well, since he loves Dogman, let's make the detective thing about Dogman. So as a social detective, you're trying to detect what emotions are positive emotions and what you should do in a situation if you're getting triggered, So we made Dogman his centerpiece. He loved it. He got in there, made a poster about it, and we just listed good things that make you a good detective when it comes to those social aspects. And I think he wants to make some puppets next. So we could do a little bit of role playing, some ideas to get some like stick puppets, and then we can role play out, social situations that he struggles with in his daily life, but do it in a kind of fun way that's not triggering for him. So this is a young kid in first grade that we're doing that stuff with. Down here is individuation for student sensibilities. So right now I'm trying to get better at addressing reading and literacy. So we're using, instead of just trying to rote memorize like letters, the alphabet and things, we're trying to teach them how to link sounds together, and these sounds make words. So we're using these tools where we practice saying the word, feeling out the word by breaking into pieces and using like little toys to kind of manipulate to kind of work out the word, and then spelling out the word where we're saying the letters, and then writing it, and then putting that whole thing together to say the word. So we're working on patterns. So focusing on words that all have a similar kind of sounds. And we found that tool very useful for some of our younger kids. And we've been blessed to have this cool curriculum, or not curriculum, but seminar where mentors from around the counties have been trying to teach us how to help kids read better. So that's been very useful. And I also have that little card with the heart on it. So we're playing these things called like heart words, where we focus on a certain sound. So here we have the A sound, and we use that and connect that with body movements, and that helps the kids kind of work out the words and the sounds and incorporate them with well, I guess they call them mnemonic devices. So it helps them kind of like link the body movement with the sound so they can better understand the word, and helps with their decoding skills. And then the last thing I've been doing a lot of is these kids have tons of energy to spare, and they're just brimming with like ready to explode. So we're doing a lot of Mario Run, a lot of like these little computer dances or like exercise games. So they'll kind of shoot a screen out, and the kids dodge, jump, and while they watch the screen, and they kind of there's like an obstacle course, virtual obstacle course that they do, and some of these kids really love that. I've had like 4 or 5 of them that really dig it. So I try to incorporate that every day whenever I have the opportunity, get all that energy out before I send them back to the regular classroom or If we're in a different situation, I see that they have a lot of energy, we might do that as like a fun activity. Before we transition them somewhere, so, I found that a very useful gift, being able to do that with some of these kids. Plus, it's a bonding experience too, helps me bond with the kids. And, I'm a video game nerd, so, I love me some Mario. And, yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope I didn't bore everybody, but, I just wanted to say how grateful I am to have this opportunity to work with all these kids here and have this fantastic staff, supportive staff, as we're trying to help these kids and make them have a positive experience, so.
Very much. Awesome. Rodriguez, is she still? All right.
Yep.
One more introduction, I think, for you.
Just to conclude, I think we, like he just said, we have a great, staff. We're very blessed to be back in Greenville and, support all of the students here. So we're very thankful to be where we're at. Callie, I think is our new, is what you were here last year as well, representing the school board. So she is also our student representative this year for Greenville High School. So thank you, Callie, for taking on this opportunity again and representing our school.
It's my pleasure this time to administer the oath of office. Repeat after me. I, with your name, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will, let me try to get that again, and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge
discharge
the duties upon which
the duties upon which
I'm about to enter.
I am about to enter.
Congratulations. You have a report at this time, is that right?
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and PUSD staff. My name is Callie Banks. I'm the Greenville High School ASB president. I'm glad to be here and report to you on what has been happening so far with our students. Last year, my reports were in front of a camera due to the weather. It is nice to be reporting to everyone in person. This year, we got off to a rough start with losing Mr. Snyder, the ag teacher, within the first week. Thankfully, we had Mrs. Dolphin and Mrs. Keenan to oversee our classes. Most of our classes are on Apex, but we do have culinary arts and band for students. To change up the days, we use 2 or 3 different classrooms. The library is one of them. And Mrs. Rodriguez, our principal, was able to purchase beanbag chairs to give us a different option than just sitting in a hard chair. So for all the students have enjoyed them and it has helped to break up the day. We have had a couple of reward days with card games, ice cream, or a movie. GHS students participated in football and volleyball with Plymouth Charter IBA this year. Neither of our seasons were the best, but showing up to practice and working as a team is what counts. For football homecoming, both schools got together for the day to work on floats, play power football, and a volleyball grudge match. We enjoyed a taco lunch provided by IBA, played pickleball and other games on the lawn. The football boys and volleyball girls challenged each other with a couple of relay games, and of course the girls won. After the football game, GHS hosted a hall party with music, board games, and cornhole. Pizza, lemonade, and ice cream sundaes were provided for all to enjoy. Our last volleyball game at home was senior appreciation. 3 girls were honored for their dedication to the team. It was bittersweet as I was one of those girls. I will miss my teammates and opportunity to play next year. Football seniors were honored at their last home game also. Now we are on to boys and girls basketball. Practice has started and our first home event will be the annual John Holland basketball tournament, November 30th, December 1st and 2nd. Our teams will also participate in other tournaments before winter break. We're all looking forward to a great season. Our ASB class has been keeping up with activities the best we can as we don't have a dedicated class period. We have worked hard to keep our halls decorated, made signs for football games, and worked with our elementary school for Red Ribbon Week. We had activities for each class at the elementary. We set up tables in the hall and had craft projects for the students to make. On Halloween Day, we hosted a parade for GES. We had eerie music playing as the kids walked through a spooky arch and we gave them a sucker as they came through. There were lots of cute costumes, including the GES staff, the zookeeper, and her animals. Mrs. Brown, our band teacher, has been busy with her students practicing for honors band. They're competing this Wednesday and Thursday at the Region B High School Honors Band. Last weekend, a group of band students went to Reno to attend the Reno Pops Orchestra haunted concert. The group spent time at the Coconut Bowl for fun before the evening event. 7th, 8th grade culinary students are in the kitchen after passing their safety test. They have been going over quick breads, making biscuits, donuts, and waffles. Culinary arts did their sanitation and safety review with first-year students taking their food handlers exam. We have made waffles, cookies, potatoes, and gravy, crepes, and over 120 cupcakes for Red Ribbon Week. Mrs. Dolphin took culinary students on a field trip to St. Helena to visit the Culinary Institute of America. Culinary students have been practicing breakfast items on the grill for our school-based enterprise, making and baking cafe. Community requests have been made since last year for us to reopen. It is finally stated for Tuesday, November 28th at 7 a.m. We hope everyone will stop in for a nice hot cooked breakfast. I will report again next March. Thank you.
This time, I think you're using you. You have other minutes. Thanks for being here. All right. Now is the time and place for public input. Wanted to mention a few things about that first. The first is that the board, under the law in California, the Brown Act specifically, cannot respond to any comments or questions given during public comment. We can refer you to the appropriate staff member or to the superintendent to address it at a later time. But again, the board cannot respond to anything. It's not because we don't want to, we're following the law. It says we can't respond and talk about anything that's not on the agenda. Also, there is a 3-minute time limit for each person who addresses the government during public input. And also, we have letters and things that came in, and we also take those into consideration. There's also a time limit of 20 minutes per topic. For example, if you have 6 people who want to talk about the school library, we will limit it to a total of 20 minutes and 3 minutes per person. So we want to get that out of the way. And that being said, we have 2 requests for folks to come up and speak. The first of whom is Debbie Hopkins.
Evening, my name is Deb Hopkins, and I'm here to talk about our school libraries. But first, let me thank you for the work you do, your commitment to the students and the education of Plymouth Unified School District. I really appreciate it. 2 years ago, as a QHS Golden grad, I organized a fundraising project for the library. Responding to Tracy Keppel's wish list, we replaced over 40 classic books and bought a high-powered computer for a makerspace. Maker spaces are rapidly becoming an integral part of libraries as they offer hands-on learning and opportunities for collaboration between students. Making these learning tools accessible to rural students is in keeping with the original reason that Ben Franklin founded libraries. to make educational opportunities equitable. Back then, it was just books, but now it's far more. Students also need to be connected to and proficient with technology. Tracy had this vision and dream, and I vowed to help her bring it to fruition. Other classes have joined in, and we are prepared to invest more in the library, but we are waiting for infrastructure to be in place, specifically oversight by a qualified librarian and full-time hours of operation. The correlation between strong libraries, school library programs, and student achievement is noted everywhere you look. Furthermore, strong libraries are linked to student well-being and a sense of safety. I've sent you all research and sources for these things so you can verify what I'm saying. Please put the libraries on the agenda for your next meeting. Literacy proficiency losses related to the COVID pandemic obligate us to care and act now. The students need your involvement and help, not next year, now. I'm respectfully advocating for 3 immediate actions. 1, raise the bar for who runs the library and fund and support staff. Reconfigure the role of the librarian in the school. School libraries, especially at the high school level, need to be run by credentialed teacher librarians. Research demonstrates that this makes a huge difference. 2, make these positions district funded with competitive wages. I understand that in 2001, the district voted to leave it to the discretion of each school as to the hours and the weight and resources given to their library. It is no longer working. I'm asking for your involvement to ensure that the students at the Plumas Unified School District have equitable access to quality libraries. Strong library programs will help retain students and will bring students back.
You have
3.
30 seconds remaining.
Pardon?
30 seconds remaining, thank you.
Mandate that the high school libraries are open 5 days a week, all day, till 3:15 or later. I hope that it is not too late for you to make use of the skills and the vision that Tracy Keppel has to offer. She knows what needs to be done to develop a strong program. Build it and they will come. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. The other request to speak is from Tracy Keppel. I understand she's ill, but someone is speaking on her behalf. Again, with a 3-minute time limit. Thank you.
My name is Nancy Gambell. I am employed by the district. Tracy has asked that I read her letter. She's had kind of I have 2 letters actually that I will try and weave together for you. And I read this as Tracy. I come to you today urging you to consider the untapped potential of our libraries. I have been immersed in the life of the library since 2010. I know firsthand what a vibrant, dynamic library can do for students and teachers. I have read the LCAP summaries. I have engaged with the Far North Literacy Consortium. I have worked with countless teachers and students regarding literacy needs and our student well-being. And still, I do not see libraries prioritized as a vital resource for our school. Yesterday, Quincy High School once again lost their librarian. The newly hired lady was smart, hardworking, and techie. I really enjoyed working with her. I believe the students on both campuses would have liked working with her also. She wisely took another job that would keep her at one location with more hours and better. So my question is naturally, how can we keep our libraries staffed with hardworking, smart, techie people who love books and care about our kids? I believe our libraries are worth more than just a part-time person sitting at that desk. They are a resource we have not tapped into or invested in, and this needs to change. To keep our libraries running, we will always need librarian techs and librarian aides. Please continue to hire librarians for this important task. of keeping the doors of our library open and the books and students coming and going through that door. However, experienced credentialed teacher librarians should be placed strategically in our libraries and compensated accordingly to continue to bring high-level vision and excitement into these beloved spaces. Here are a few of the important roles that I feel are enacted by experienced teacher librarians: to run and organize high-interest book clubs, collaborate with teachers and students, promote literature in all areas, teach students how to choose independent reading material, support students with special needs,
30 seconds left.
Thank you. Facilitate research skills, provide a safe space for social engagement, maintain a peaceful and quiet place for all the students. Most importantly, because of this unique space, librarians sometimes become the only trusted adult for some of our students. The school library can be the heart of a school, but it is unlikely to evolve by accident. I ask the board and district leaders to consider creating a new plan for our libraries with new salary structures, more open hours, and higher expectations for excellence. Thank you for listening and considering this.
Thank you. Very much. At this point, Christy Warren will be presenting our school plans for student achievement.
We have.
There's some other public comment.
We didn't receive any slips submitted.
It says on the agenda that you will honor people in person, attending in person or submitting.
Okay, I understand. You've been to board meetings before and you know the process. So if you fill out paper, the forms that, so we can call on you, that would be my request.
Do we have nothing? You're on the podium.
Some people who are commenting haven't been for a while, since that's been the policy, so we can be willing to hear them.
Forms are right there.
Where?
They're on the
We
podium,
have forms on the podium, that way we have a record of who
on the top.
came.
You want to come over and fill it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want one? Please.
I didn't know there was one more spot.
Did I do this before or after my comment?
We should let him make his comment.
Go ahead and make your comment, just so we have the record.
Excellent, thank you. My name is Dan Kern. Good evening, neighbors, community members. Good evening, board.
You have 3 minutes, so
Thank you.
thanks.
And staff, thank you for this opportunity to speak. I really just want to say thank you for the progress that we've made in figuring out what to do with this campus and how to move forward with the challenges that we've faced since the fire. I appreciate the listening that you all have done. I appreciate the strides that you've made to work things out. And I just want to say thank you, and I encourage you to do more of that. I would also like to just bring up, since I saw it here, I find it very concerning. Well, I know that we need the electronics in the school system now, right? This is part of the future. To see one in a school setting turn on with Netflix as the home page is a very concerning thing. I'd like to think if we can afford these updates and these tools, that we could tailor them specific to the educational environment. And lastly, I would just like to say too, that the point of the Brown Act in spirit and the point of these meetings in general is to afford the public an opportunity to give their input and speak to the things that come before this board. And this board certainly isn't the only one. It struggles with making us feel welcome and appreciated in that process. But if we could continue to work towards doing that some more, that would be very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lance,
most of you, if you've known me as Crystal Future, I was a BHS high school graduate, class of 2003. Since then, I went to Chico State and got my degree there and got my master's degree in education simultaneously with being a teacher credential. I taught in 2 different school districts and I have 4 children, 2 that are also that have been 3 different school districts. And I've noticed with academic success that changes to the academic calendar are very beneficial to our students. So I was proposing that we could do an agenda item to revise the calendar in the future, especially with all the different changes that our school district is going through. I went through and made revisions as a possibility so that you could see them. Academic success for students is directly linked to more frequent breaks throughout our school. We used to have February break when I was in school, but the calendar hasn't changed much in the last 20 years. And studies have shown since the 1990s that if students are given more frequent breaks throughout the year, they're put to stay on focus, on task. And then as a teacher, you have less of that chaos right before break where the kids aren't paying attention because they're at burnout and they're just ready to go off. If we provide more breaks throughout the year, we can combat some of that stuff and make it a little bit easier for parents and teachers in our schools. I made copies if anyone wants to see it, but we would like to discuss it in full. Mostly I put in 2 breaks. So we would have a lot of school districts that I found throughout the valley are doing 6 weeks on, 1 week off. And they're seeing a huge success in their academic achievement and in the social behavioral wellness of the kids. So on that calendar, I propose that we start school 2 weeks early and offer 2-week breaks throughout the year, 1 in October and 1 in February. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wanted to follow up the request to please submit those district call forms through our board. We can make a record of it.
I'll be brief. My name is Laura Kearns. Thank you for being here. I have been reading through a lot of things and regarding the fire damage specifically to the Greenville Elementary School and junior high and high school campus. It's disturbing to me that there's reference to Measure B monies, insurance reimbursements, and district funds specifically listed as fixing anything from the fire damage specifically. So I'm just coming forth to you as a concerned citizen that PG&E is not on that list of for fixing anything here on this campus specific to the fire. So that's my thank you.
Thank you.
They're right here in front of Bill.
Laura, can I call you? Just so I can just expand on this a little bit?
That would be good.
Okay.
I'll leave my number.
Okay, thank you very much. Point, I'll recall the assistant superintendent and instructional services.
Now you have before you our annual school plans, student achievement from all 7 of our school sites. Thanks to our principals, our site councils, we've all prepared these and gone through this process. We do this every year. If you have any questions, happy to answer them. And we are looking for approval of this plan this evening.
Well, okay. So you're recommending approval of the plan?
Correct.
Okay. Seeking approval from the board. First,
No questions, I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
there's a first, there's a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're in it. We'll update us on Measure B. projects.
Okay, Measure B projects for, right, there's nothing to update. We are currently in the process of all the current projects being signed off through DSA for completion. So we'll be closing out all projects. And within the next 6 weeks, we'll have a final settling of all of our contracts that are out. And we'll know exactly what money is left. And then we'll see what we're going to do with that. It's not a lot, but there will be some funds left that we can do some projects with. So we will be looking at that. We're just trying to get everything closed out so we know exactly where we stand. So that's Measure B, nothing to approve. Yep.
Facilities up here?
We have some contracts here for facilities, and also, I can give an update, for Greenville specific, the softball concession stand stack bar that burned down. I got an email from the Department of State Architecture at the end of last week that everything has cleared. They've approved our plans. And so, we'll be getting a proposal, and that will be going out to bid. So that'll be replaced. It's gonna be a beautiful 2-story structure with an awning. And they've facilitated the orientation of it so that the folks working, the parents who support those kiddos, actually can look out of the concession stand window and see the game. So it's gonna be a beautiful building. There were some things that the insurance company kicked back, like because the backstop is still standing, they're not covering it. So we're going to be bringing a proposal to you after the first of the year to replace that. I've talked to the staff about a few other things out there, but what we're going to do is, because the way that winter ends and that sports have to pick up, we're going to push all construction projects until after the girls get to have their softball season. Okay, and it's not such a big project that they won't be able to bang it out over the summer. And we'll get that going as soon as possible. That's a Greenville specific. The plan that's on, when we look at the project updates for the district, as I go through, if you remember, we did Current Electric last month. They had not provided proper certifications to the state. So we know we have to redo this. Same amount, no change, but we had to make sure it was right. We have some safety window tinting at Portola High School in the front office. Visiplex are the little signs that project. They're not working properly throughout campus. So that contract, and because they're out of warranty, Visiplex is coming to be able to service our emergency system, make sure they're working. We can make sure everything's functional in case of emergency. It's a good way to communicate. Humboldt fence, that is the softball field project we're working on at Chester. As a result of some Title IX issues we have out there, potential. So we're alleviating those, but that is the exact same that they're going to get here at Greenville, and as the exact same setup that we did with Measure B at Portola High School. So if you played softball at Portola High School, it's a beautiful backstop, vinyl coated. And so that's what we will be doing there. And then the last one is the change order. Should be the only change order we see on the solar project. We have a company that's doing the work, that's getting their first experience of working in California, what we call working in the frontier. And so they didn't realize that they were going to hit water at about 8 feet. And they called for 17-foot pylons in sand. So we had to change to spread footings. Spread footings can't be produced in the shop, so it brings more prevailing wage hours and a lot more rebar and 3 times as much concrete in. I worked with the builder and the contractor. We are not being double charged for anything. It's only one-time cost. What you see is a total amount of change orders for the Greenville campus, for the Chester campus, as well as fencing that goes around the base of them. Because if we call them actual shade structures, then everything has to be ADA compliant to the restrooms, which puts $100,000 to $125,000 worth of work onto every solar shade structure. So it's easier to put a fence around them and then encourage some of these schools to have some sheep, put them in, student project, they keep the grass down. But they broke ground in Chester today on the spread footings, and you'll probably see them on this campus by the beginning of next week. They're gonna get those footings poured, and they will be able to put the structures up in the snow if need be, and I told them, you're going to need to, I'm sorry, you're from Fresno. And so they're doing the work. So this is, these are all our facility contracts for current projects, and we're wrapping most everything up, and we're starting to plan for projects for late spring and through next summer.
You're seeking approval.
Yes, sir.
I'll move to approve as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
Second first and then second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approved. Thank you very much. Additional facilities update, other funds.
That was what I just did.
I'm sorry.
That was the general, that was general. I was like, wait a minute. Mr. Kearns.
Yeah, Mr. Keller, Dan Kearns again. I just had some questions on item 10. When I read through here, I looked at the, hold up, so I get my terminology right. I see, goal statements and the strategies and all the different, strategies that have been created for each school, for each of the identified issues. And I'm just wondering who, was it a school site team or who created these documents and these plans that, who identified the goals and then came up with the strategies, activities for that?
So for this, do you want?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's through our principals, and they have worked with our site councils, which are made up of classroom teachers, classified staff, parents, and students. So anyone who's on site council knows what their CISA is commonly known as, so they align our goals with our LCAP. So site goals align with LCAP, and they decide on the goals action feature. That's site level.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you for the review.
Yeah, one other thing I just have, I see on here are Chromebooks like standard for every student in every school? Is that?
One-to-one policy.
Alright.
It's Chromebooks or
Mostly Chromebooks, there's not that many people, like we have 2 high school sites that have laptops, and we're on second and not through Chromebooks.
What security measures are in place on those computers to prevent social media, sexual predators, things of that nature from interfering with school activities?
well, everything firewalls, so when a student logs on through the internet, through a Chromebook, it automatically accesses through our system, even if they log on at home. Okay, however, to be honest with you, teenagers, much more computer savvy than we are. They can proxy server around a lot. They can do it very well. We do the best. We also talk to them about technology safety, internet protocol, how to be safe online. But you know, the biggest thing is we try to teach the students that Chromebooks are a device in which to learn. It's not a perfect science, but it also puts technology in the hands of students that don't always have that opportunity.
We do have a technology
Yeah.
use agreement as well
Yep.
for parents and students while they're using the devices, whether it be on campus or at home.
We also have
Go Guardian.
programs that teachers can see all of the student devices on their screen. So
Mhm.
we can monitor what students are doing, and we can X out, we can,
In a live setting.
Freeze it.
come on.
We have a number of safety measures in place. Nothing is perfect.
Sure.
So, but we do our very best.
Yeah, I was just made aware of a student last school year from within the district. I don't want to give too many details. But she was solicited for pornographic pictures over her school computer, and they were reciprocated and kind of turned into a big old mess. Now, I'm not trying to blame anyone, I am just saying that this is obviously terrible, right? If anyone would experience this in any setting. The fact that it happened at school is just, in my mind, just raises the importance of how serious it is to be able, if we're gonna give these students these tools with the connective capabilities that they have, how important it is to be able to monitor not just what they're doing, but what the rest of the world could be doing on their particular devices as well.
Maybe Ms. Rodriguez could reach out to you and see if we get a few facts, and see if there's anything we need to dig into. Even though it's late, but see if the family needs support. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you for answering those questions.
Of course.
Thank you. We have an application for an exemption of required expenditure for classroom salaries.
Okay, so very quickly on here, this is one of the things that you do as that you're allowed to do as a single. We in Plumas Unified have old buildings, which makes them terribly inefficient and extremely expensive to operate and to maintain. There is a law that's on the books in the state of California that's decades old that says teacher salaries have to make up 55% of the budget and money spent. If we did that, we wouldn't have the lights on, all our roofs would leak, and we would probably go bankrupt, unfortunately. So each year, without fail, we have to apply to the state and let them know that we can't meet the 55% requirement, even with giving the entire staff in the district a 15% raise over the last 2 years, this year and last year. We still cannot meet the 55% requirement. So we write a letter, we ask for an exemption of this number. And as the county superintendent, I'm able to approve that. And then we submit it to the state so we don't have a material audit finding. We do our best. We try to compensate as much as we can. But in this day and age, with our buildings in the state they are, just because they're old, 55% is not a number we can hit. But we continue to work on it, Daryl. Continue to work on compensating all of our folks. So this is information only. It was submitted as the board president. Mr. Keller submits that to me as the county superintendent, and we approve it, and we have submitted this to the state. So this is information only.
Thank you. And then we have item 12B, which is the USD resolution.
Okay. I want to talk to you about this. This is why many people are here. Okay. So how did we get here? Came here and met with everybody in March. All right, we talked about a new look, a new direction for Greenville High School. Then I spent the next 3 or 4 months meeting with some of the people that are in here, some of the people that are not. And over that meeting, the general consensus, and I can't say it was unanimous, because getting a community to agree on something 100% is very difficult. But there were 2 main themes. One was we want our students together in the valley. Okay. The second one, which wasn't quite as unanimous, but was, very much majority, was we believe in this is not a quote, but we believe in the program 7 through 12 that the charter school is doing. Can we do that? There was not an overwhelming support for doing, the CTE program. They like CTE as a component, but they want an opportunity. And those of you that have been here in the valley, there was a gap. There were hard feelings. And I reached out to Talitha and said, how do we make this work? Talitha being in charge of the charter school. And I let my board know. I'm going to reach out to Talitha, and we're going to try to figure out how to bridge that gap. And it was wide. It was a chasm. We looked at what we have to offer in terms of facilities, what their program is, how that would work. And over the course of months, Lathan and I built a bridge over that gap, looking through one lens. What is the best thing we can do for the kids in Indian Valley? Took out this idea of, we have to quit competing because there's not a large enough population in this valley for 4 schools. And so that's how we got here. We got here because I listened. I got members of my team, put our heads together. How can we make this work for everybody? So I guess what Kest and I came down to is I paid attention. And we put the kids 100% as the priority. And I know it's not going to make everybody 100% happy, but we're going to offer really good programs to the TK6 through PUSD if this all works out, and then 7 through 12 through Pumas Charter and Indian Valley Academy. But they're all going to go to school here on this campus. We're not going to operate a high school program alongside a program, okay? And that's this vision we've come to, and that's what we've came together on. There's still hurdles. And what this resolution is tonight is nothing more than my 5 bosses saying, let's move forward and come up with agreements that can then be presented to both the school board for approval and the school board for the Pumas Charter School. And when we come up with that agreement, they will, they'll be reviewed. Our goal is to get them through the attorneys over the next 5 weeks and hopefully have them on a board agenda by January, or at least the first agreement on January, second agreement in February. So we can then, everyone can have plans and everyone knows where their kids are going to go to school come August. All right. So that's what we're approving tonight. That's what this resolution is. There will be 2 documents we're going to work on. First one is a memo of understanding of the educational programs, what we have agreed to do, what Pumas Charter has agreed to do, and how those programs will work together in the future. The second is basically a standard lease agreement for a facility. At the charter school's request, the commitment is for 8 years. 8 years gives this community a chance to rebuild, which was something that Kest pounded into my head over the last 6 months of, it's going to take time, so let's make sure we have a program here for the kids when the folks are able to build houses and come back. And that was our goal. Like I said in the beginning, I know it's not perfect. I know it's not 100%, but I, my team, and I believe the folks that have been working on this can look anybody in the eye and say, what we believe we are doing is what's best for the students in this valley. And so that's what I'm asking for tonight from my board, is to pass this resolution so I can take many days worth of notes and where we are and hand it to attorneys and say, protect both entities to make sure that no one has more risk than the other, and that we can move forward, and all we have to worry about is educating the students in this valley to the very best that both entities can do. And that's what we're committed to doing. That's how we've got here. So, Dave, if you'd like to open it up for a few questions, I can talk a little bit about it, but it's hard because we don't have set agreements because nothing's coming to the board yet. That's the next step. But we wanted to let you know a timeline and how we're moving forward.
Thank you, sir. Before I ask the board for comments, is there anything you want to say, Mr. Bowman?
Yes, thank you. I was waiting for this item to be on the agenda, and I simply want to say that I came to you, as you know, several times at other board meetings and asked you to listen to the community and work with the charter school. It looks like you've done that. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you listened. You gave Superintendent Roderick the authority to move forward with this, and I'm hopeful that the kids in our community will get a better education because of the way you've handled this. So thank you for your attention to this program.
Thank you, sir. Asked you up here because you played a role and your name was brought up a couple of times.
We've talked a lot.
Board, any comments or input at this point?
We've been working on this, looking at Guy back there since for 11 years. We've been.
Well,
12, okay, thank you. To provide K-12 education in the Valley, right? That was the goal 12 years ago. And it's still the goal. And I feel like, you know, I have a lot of mixed emotions about this. But I also feel like we can't keep doing what we've been doing. So I feel like this is the next step and where we need to go, and we don't have, as Bill mentioned, there's only so many kids in this valley and only so many dollars in this valley to educate them, and we want those dollars to be spent the best way possible. So
Thank you.
Kurt, you have something?
Yes, thank you, Dave. I just want to again acknowledge my gratitude that we've been able to come together and work these things out. This is something that we haven't seen happen in quite some time, and I'm very appreciative of that. I would also just like to ask the board as we go forward and we start to make decisions about what this is going to look like and how this is all actually going to pan out. If we could present the community with a draft of what that looks like and allow us to give input to a draft that is then taken back and corrected as opposed to input to an action item. I think that would be the community would really appreciate being able to have several iterations of making sure that we've got everything ironed out, right? I think that would also save you guys some trouble in having to deal with us, the community, being upset about decisions that were presented to us without affording us that back and forth with you guys. I bring this up only because I've noticed that that's the pattern, and it would be awesome to break that cycle and have us work with you guys, not butting heads, right? But sharing ideas, understanding your hurdles and giving you guys feedback as to what we want.
So here's a commitment I will make. I will work with Talitha and see if we can't come together in January and present at a DFC meeting. We get good community turnout, the Dixie Fire Collaborative meetings. And that way we can put it on, we can talk about it. We don't have to be agendized. And, maybe we can have some time. We put it at the end of the agenda, and then interested parties, maybe we could have a work group just to go through it and be able to ask questions. I'd be willing to commit to that. I'm sure Talitha would too. I'll reach out to her. She's at a conference right now. But that way we can, let you know where we're at. Some of it is strictly going to be contractual. But we can then disclose what the details of that are going to be and what those agreements are, and that's fine. That way the community's had a chance to look at it before we bring it to the board. And maybe I can get an ad hoc of the board, maybe 2 people to come to that and be here with us.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Of course.
Just like to thank you so much for demonstrating the willingness to work together. And I wish you all the luck in making something, keeping open what might be possible when we work together. And I hope that it spreads. Thank you.
My name is Lacey. I graduated from 2021. I don't know. Ignore me, I had a rough day.
Because it's your school list.
My question is, so I know you guys, it's newer, obviously, and I am really glad that these is gonna be used. I was looking at to go to IBA and GTS, but I'm proud that I graduated from GTS because my dad and uncle and my sister and I've been so blessed with so many opportunities. So my question is, I know you guys are basing it, obviously, so are you guys gonna keep all of the like trophies and like monumental and historic,
So,
like championship game? I mean, I worked hard and that's.
okay, so I walked this campus with Principal Schrammel. Letha, who, she runs the joint over there, she does a great job. And we talked about the history of the school. And the murals are gonna stay the same. And the trophies are gonna stay in the library. Nothing's being repainted, the gym floor is not being redone. And they're going to be, and I'm not gonna steal their thunder, I'm gonna leave it alone. But I'm gonna tell you this, they've made a commitment to preserve the history of this school. Okay?
And there's like a bunch of your books and important.
It's all part of the history, it's all part of the community.
Our town already burned down, so like, at least we can.
It's not going anywhere,
Okay. Thank you.
of course.
Thank you.
This is a very tricky transaction because you have to look at it from the business side to protect everybody involved, but then you have to look at it from the town's history and the history of the school, that there's nearly 100 years here that we don't want to lose. And this town is proud. So I know, and you couldn't have a better steward than Ryan in doing this, because he's part of that history here. And he's gonna do a great job. And so I'm gonna encourage you, as that transition starts to change, to happen, show up for them like you show up for us. And let them know what you want to see that school look like. As they start to form what this 7 through 12 program here is going to look like, because they have the room to expand their program and to operate, and so let them know your wishes as a community. Please. We have Neil's here, and he's representing Ryan and Letha because they're at conference.
I'm a parent rep for Plymouth Charter School. I didn't really have anything planned, but I did want to say that this has been an interesting process, this whole thing, and Veronica was sharing just how her heart filled during this. There was a joint assembly here on Tuesday. There was a violin and cello concert, and she was in the gym and she saw the whole set of the bleachers filled with kids from both schools, right? And that's what we want, right? It's pretty simple. So I'm excited about supporting this process however I can, and I thank you guys for being open and flexible. Like, all of our systems are in a time of chaos, right? So the best thing we can do is adapt and be willing to try new things.
That's what we're doing.
So anyway, that's all I have. But if any of you feel like you need to talk to the board, and if you wanted to talk to me about being the rep of Indian Valley on the charter school, I'll do whatever I can to support what you want. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I have a question. I don't understand how this works. What is the oversight for the two? How does that work?
So, Plymouth Charter School is an independent charter school, but we are, PUSD is the sponsoring agency. So we work with their administration. We look at their academic progress, which is always really good. We look at their finances, and just make sure they're operating above board and that everything looks good. So we have, you have monthly meetings? Yeah, monthly meeting. And so Talitha comes over, she meets with Christy, their finances go to Mallory. And then as a county, if they ever need support, we're more than willing to offer, but they do SELPA through El Dorado County. Because that's kind of what El Dorado County does. And they get support through there. But when this happens, 7 through 12, that's gonna be their show. And we basically just turn into landlords and make sure we have a good facility and a safe facility for them to operate within. Do we have another question over here?
Okay. Oh, boy, this is tough. Sitting around, surrounding myself with GHS graduates, Veronica right here, and so many supporters of this high school, and going through the 7-11 committees with this gentleman right here, Kevin Goss, Columbus County Supervisor and of this district, and going through what we've gone through the last couple of years. This is a core to our rebuild, and it is huge to be able to see this happening. I know we've gone through many iterations of this, and very glad to see that we're at this point now. Our population at this point demands this, that this happen, and that we keep our kids together. And in this school, I graduated from Greenville High School. I've got two kids in the charter that went through the charter system. Amazing. Both sides of it were absolutely amazing. I can't imagine a better union at this particular point in our rebuild and our coming together as a community here in Green Valley. So thank you very much. And you guys.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks. When I first was sworn into the board 7 years ago, one of my objectives was to somehow make sure that Greenville High School stayed intact, with mixed results sometimes. Now I know it became increasingly expensive, maintaining the status quo, and things were looking up. It looked like a few years ago, but then we had this fire wipe out the community, and that did something that no one else could do. It like bottomed out our enrollment, and definitely caused economic issues for the district, and we continue to do so under this scenario. Not doing anything, but continuing what we've been doing for years, and that's how we got to this place. And well, you said I have experience, and up until a week ago, I didn't know how I felt about going forward on it. I kind of discussion with our superintendent about it. So on that note, I'm looking for a motion.
I will make a motion to approve PUSD Resolution 1639 to finalize agreements with PCS regarding the use of the Greenville High School campus.
I'll second.
First, I have a second. It's a roll call vote on this because it is a resolution.
Klein,
Yes.
Edwin,
Aye.
Harrison,
Yes.
Keller,
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Motion approved. This point, please take a 5-minute break.
Okay, we're gonna just it's gonna take a 5-minute break. It's all.
Grandson has nothing, went around in the dark, trying to find his plan, because he goes to FRC, and he was trying to get here. He doesn't know.
I can drop Leslie, can I drop you off at your car on the way? No.
You can drop me too, Bill. I'm not there.
You're on the other side of the parking lot, right? Well, by the gym. Thanks, Bill. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Pardon me?
Like a graduation, yeah, we parked out there.
Yeah.
with the building.
Right.
So I would like.
I will take you around.
Yeah, I almost like got it at your break. Oh, I gotta go.
Both sides.
They're all. No, they're all.
I mean, like, actually, they. No, that either.
No, but I don't care about that. But I've had all these things.
Yeah, that's why, yeah. All right. I will like that.
So I guess it all.
The 8 and 9-year-old grandkids are way easier.
I totally agree.
The 20-year-old are not easy.
Kids is really hard. Really is hard.
They're 7. And even then, they're not 7.
I mean, kids are going, they're on. Yeah. Yeah. But I find myself like literally fighting against myself.
Right.
You cannot find it. No, it's your house. It's your house. You have to be careful.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
It has. It's not. Because you don't really know what it's conversation.
Right. I know.
I just have to shut my mouth.
I know, it's not just because I'm just like, right. Oh.
Okay, so I'll say, like you maybe consider.
Yeah. Have you thought about it? Yeah.
It's just so hard. I really am not enjoying just part. I mean, I'm really enjoying my grandchildren, but then
I like them.
that's part I love. Yeah. So that's what we do. When we get together, it's all about just another great. That's how we get our time.
Yeah.
We all went to dinner. Yeah, this is hard. I can't even imagine if we get really like. I can't even.
Yeah. Yeah. I am very grateful They do. And it's like, I'm like, did you not? Like, where are you? Where did that come from? Yes. So we got out of it. Right? So why would you even get? Well, I just was in a hurry. I thought it was if you just stay there. And I can't say any of that. Why would they make such a big decision? Right. Yeah. These are big. It's like, you can't get out of the contract. You can't. These are legally.
Apparently, Tracy rewrote her letter and gave Nancy a different one an hour before because of the nature of what was. Giving a story about a student and somebody advised her not to do that. And so anyways, that one that I may not want to hand that one.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's 5 hours. Sure. So.
I have a key to the cafeteria. Yes. I was thinking that we could take the elevator.
It's just hard. I love them, and I'm glad they're all. Thanks, later. One that I really don't get in this generation is my kids. I was gonna say, but we couldn't find the tripod.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that what happened is somehow. So, but thank you.
Right, is that too? You cannot too. Just as first one. You want me to lock them into.
Would you lock them in?
Yes. And that is it. They just think. Never had. 5 days plus. Yeah. Try to get this. This is. They really nice. They don't. Yeah. Because I they don't either. Yeah.
If you guys are leaving, you better leave. Be called back to work. Make this
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for your part and all of that.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough one.
That's what I'm on.
Yeah. I'm kind of texting the invite and I'm like.
Okay. All right.
So.
Bye, guys.
Hey.
Bye.
Hold on.
Right.
I'm glad we don't have, we're not here from all those resources.
It would be wise, because the whole district knows there's a drama. It would be wise if you created this is what we're moving forward to.
All right.
And rather than-
How you doing, Patty?
Something like
How are you?
that. And I can.
I'm doing well. I'm glad that we're finally ready.
You really, I still only keep seeing you from the knees up.
Good. I'm moving. It's not 100% yet, but it's. Oh, yeah.
Everything you're insurance, you're not on.
Because I was telling somebody over there, my big concern now is that when it's time to ski, this foot now goes out, and the doctor said, yep, that bone split there, and it's a spiral, and it's not coming back. That's where it's going. So,
Your findings on.
no, you can adjust your binding. You can have to talk about your binding. I'm gonna have to have my toe hang on to my boot. I think it's gonna work, because I can turn that, and you turn your feet anyway when you're skiing. But, I'm gonna have to find out. You're gonna have to have your binding adjusted. They can twist the binding on the board. They have adjustment in it. You'll be able to twist that. Twisting? They'll be able to twist that binding in, so when you snap into it, it will hold your foot in place, so you don't have to remember to toe it in. You're gonna need to go to the canton. Yeah, but I don't know about twisting. You're gonna need to go to a ski shop and show them what you're dealing with and say, I need my binding adjusted, so I don't have to remember to do that. We'll find out. My first stop is the doctor to find out when I can ski, because.
He's gonna go.
All right, let's do it. All right.
Bye.
Those are good problems to have though, Chris.
Yes, they are.
Alright.
Meeting. And the resolution here I need to read.
Mhm.
There's just one.
Same resolution, two entities.
Okay, I'll read it once.
Yes, sir.
The folks who are remaining, we have a resolution recognizing and honoring Native American Heritage Month. Well, there's two resolutions, one for the County Office of Education, the other one for the school district. When it comes time to approve it, we'll vote on them together. And I'll read just one resolution right now. The wording is the same, and this is for both Columbus Unified School District and Columbus County Office of Education. Whereas the Columbus Unified School District Board of Trustees recognizes the significant contributions that Native Americans have made to the history, culture, and growth of the United States, the state of California, and Columbus County. And whereas Native American Heritage Month is an opportunity to celebrate and recognize the diverse cultures, traditions, and contributions of Native Americans. And whereas the Columbus Unified School District Board of Trustees acknowledges the need to educate students and staff about the history and culture of Native Americans. And whereas the Columbus Unified School District Board of Trustees is committed to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion within our schools and community. And whereas the Columbus Unified School District Board of Trustees joins the Native American communities in honoring the accomplishments and contributions of Native Americans in our society. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Columbus County Unified School District Board of Trustees that November be recognized as Native American Heritage Month in our schools, and that our students and staff be encouraged to participate in the educational and cultural activities that promote understanding and appreciation of Native American history and culture. When this is passed and adopted, it'll be effective today, November 8th, and it'll recognize the month of November. Thank you.
I'll move to approve resolution number 2324-06, recognizing and honoring Native American Heritage Month.
And we'll also do the.
Can we do them together?
Please.
Okay. What's the number? 1640. I'll second.
Great, thank you. First and a second. Okay, this is a roll call vote.
Klein.
Aye.
Edlund.
Aye.
Harrison.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Thank you very much. And policy revisions are up next.
So, on the policy revisions, you will notice, most of them are updates, AR 4119.12. The Title IX sexual harassment complaint procedures is new. That was recommended to us by our attorneys that although covered under Title IX, they wanted us to spell out sexual harassment complaint procedures. So they gave us this recommended policy in which to do that. I'm recommending that be approved on the first read, and everything else are updates as recommended by the California School Board Association.
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
We have a first and a second, and there's no need for a second reading, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No opposition, the motion carries. And we have a consent items. We have minutes from the board meeting, or two board meetings, it looks like. We'll take the September 1st, 2023 USD special board meeting first.
Two of you were absent.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
Okay, so.
So is me, and so I will make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
We have just one abstention?
Yeah, two.
Okay. And three in favor, okay.
Mhm.
Motion carries. And then we have the minutes from the October 11th, 2023 meeting.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carries. And now we have service contracts included in the agenda. Is that something we already approved, or is this separate?
These are separate.
Okay. this is the first, we'll take, PCOE is just for information. Employee Unified School District is up for approval. Item B, 14B here.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Then we have the PUSD check registers for the month of October 2023.
Move to approve.
I'll second. Okay.
There's a first and a second from somebody.
I'll take it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. And then field trips.
Sounds amazing.
I'll move to approve.
I have a question on,
Sorry,
a sports equipment donation.
Hold on, we're on field trips.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'll second. Yeah, the first and second.
Okay. First and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes. Donations.
Never mind, I'm gonna retract my question. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and then Mallory Lorenz not here, so.
I've got it.
You got it?
Yep, so this is a surplus of a 2008 Jeep Liberty. It's going to be picked up and sold by Enterprise. Value of this vehicle is less than $2,500. It does not have a front wheel, is not drivable. And it's been basically sitting in the back of the maintenance yard, but Enterprise is allowing us to trade it in for credit towards one of our new lease Nissan Rogues. So looking for that to be surplus, and then it will go out to, and then they will pick it up. So this will not be one that goes out to bid.
Nice.
Move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. No need for further closed session, is that correct, sir?
Correct.
All right.
We'll need to take action on the
Right.
closed session from
Right,
earlier.
That's on 17A1.
Yep.
It's PSD stipulation expulsion agreement. That's case number 2223-05. And it's a stipulated expulsion case.
Yes.
And you're recommending approval.
Yes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have our personnel items, our HR agenda, basically.
PCOE is information only. You've all had a chance to review that. I'm looking for approval of 18A1B, the PUSD personnel transaction report for PUSD.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
The first, and there's a second, although all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. And let's talk about item 2 under the under 18, it's 18.
18.2.
Right.
Or 18.2 is what it looks like. So we have the resolution, we did this last year. It's a resolution for early notification for retirement or resignation. And we spent about $7,500 on this last year, but by approving it, we only had one resignation outside of that last year after February 15th, which allows us to plan and recruit early. And we had a number of teachers under contract by March last year. This really allows us to get ahead of the game. And when you're dealing with a budget like ours, an investment of $10,000 or less, to know who we have to hire is a tremendous advantage as we move forward. So I am looking for approval of this so we can notify our membership prior to Christmas.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Sorry, go ahead.
I think
Are we
she said-
approving both resolutions?
We have a first and we have a second. All those in favor?
Just for both.
Yeah, let me ask that. What's the
I'm
difference
sorry, yeah.
between them? Because I just opened the 1637.
One is certificated, one is classified.
Yeah, we do for both teachers and, certificated and classified staff.
Okay, so the motion is to approve both.
Yep.
And so it is a roll call.
Klein,
Aye.
Edlin,
Aye.
Harrison, Keller,
Aye,
Reed.
Aye.
that's approved. Yeah, that's the last regular agenda item. Either future agenda items we wanted to discuss, we talked about something.
Library. Let's talk about the libraries. So we'll put that on December for discussion. And we'll look at that. December will also be our annual organization meeting. So we'll be looking at dates and times and positions, there. And nothing heavy. I mean, future will be following up on, the resolutions between us and the charter.
And that meeting, okay, that's December 13th. Where's that meeting?
Be it
The district office.
district office in Quincy.
I just want to make sure. That'll, so that's our future agenda items, and until December 13th, 2023, at the district office at 4.
Yes, sir.
We adjourn, the PCOE USD joint meeting.
Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanks for coming. Thanks. To our union president. That's
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. And